Teach the Money Honey here. And in this video, I want to talk about finding trades in any market. No matter what the market's doing, we are currently looking at the Dow. But no matter what the market is doing, we will always be able to find something that we can make a profit on in any market. And this looks really scary. Talk about a falling knife. And this comes off the heels of a higher than expected consumer price index report. So inflation data ticked up, and this is what has caused the sell-off. So this was this morning, the NASDAQ, same thing, S&P, all looking pretty bad. So I'm going to show you exactly how I find profitable trades no matter what the market is doing. And I do that by using my screeners. So let's just look at the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P and see if we can find something in these indexes that is actually moving, because we just looked at some pretty crazy charts. So you would think that everything would be, falling and down significantly, but that's not actually the truth. So what I like to do is go to a custom screener and then go to index. And then I check all three of the major indexes because that's going to give me a good overview. I could also pull up different sectors if I wanted to, and that's always fantastic because we know that right now, despite all of the market volatility, energy and healthcare are actually doing pretty well. So we could see, what's popping in either of those sectors. But I generally will just select the indexes because there's a good representation in each one of these indexes, and then I'll sort it. So highest performing to lowest performing. And if we look at CVS, CVS had some earnings come out, and that's typically what you're going to see when things are moving outside of, the general sentiment. Um, News is going to make a stock move. So CVS had their earnings reporting, and you can see, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. This thing just took off. So it's up, $8.66 and moving right now at 10:30 in the morning. We've only been officially open, market opens at 9:30. And then if I were going to get in a stock like this, I do a couple of different things. I look at a lower time frame, and I will generally draw out one of two patterns. So I'm looking at this right now. This would be what I would have considered to be a flat top pattern. Now you can see we are breaking out of this flat top pattern. So I would just draw across the top of, this price zone. So resistance, it wasn't able to get through this level until now. And that's what I would call a flat top pattern. Now, if it went below, this trend line here, then we're going to be doing some retracement, meaning, we're either going to round trip it and go all the way back down to where we started, or, if you've got strong earnings, typically what you can do is draw a fib retracement and see where the stock may retrace before holding that level and then resuming its trip up. So, and Fibonacci is a good estimation tool. It doesn't always hold true to these levels. But if you wanted to figure out where, if it fell below this line here, where it might stop, usually you'll see, at least a half retracement. But my guess would be that if it were going to retrace and this was a strong stock based on strong earnings, we might just come back to this support level here at the 38 level. So that would be where I would be looking to possibly get back in this stock. But since we have broken through the flat top, how I would enter this trade would be to go down to a smaller time frame, and you can see we've had the break and then the retest. That's what my indicator is telling me. And now we're starting to move back up again. So my other indicator tells me that we can expect to probably make it to around 64.43. I typically like to look at support and resistance zones when I'm doing this. So I would look to see if there were a pivot level, and I'm not seeing that. Let's just look on the 15-minute chart. See, we've blown through all of these zones with that strong earnings report. So there's really nothing, that we can gauge this off of. So, it might be historical data, and you would really have to go back to a much larger time frame to see where that particular take profit level is being based out of. So it looks like we've had a linear regression zone here on the daily chart, and it may be an estimation. Yeah, so look, resistance 164.55. So we're taking profit before we get to this longer time frame resistance level. So that shows us here that our second take profit for the day, we could probably expect around 64.50. But in order to enter this trade, I'm looking at a 1 minute time frame. We've broken through this flat top pattern. We've tested, and now we're now we're moving up. So I would have entered once I saw this green candle start to, make this upward movement. I would have entered my trade there, and then I would have set my take profit and stop loss here. And that would have given me a 2.51 risk to reward ratio. You always want to be more than 1 to 1. And that way, if the trade doesn't work out, right, you've limited your losses. If it does play out the way you think it's going to go, then you've made a significant profit here. Now, another hint, if, buying this price stock is too much for you, you could always trade options and do like a short-term option momentum trade. And that's another discussion for another video, and I will be more than happy to talk about that in a future session. But this is how I look for trades on a daily basis and to see what's moving. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like what I am bringing you guys, please consider subscribing to my channel. I am new. However, I have been trading for going on 17 years now, and consistently profitable for the last 5. So if you like what I'm bringing, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave any comments or feedback you may have for me in the comment section. I also am on Blue Sky, Meech MH, of course, at Blue Sky. But thank you so much for joining me, and take care, set your stop losses, and happy trading.